Hello, thank you for joining us. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguilera. President Paul Biya, aged 92, has won an 8th term in office, securing 53.7% of the vote in Cameroon's presidential election. This was contained in an official result announced by the Constitutional Council this Monday. The victory extends Biya's 43-year rule, one of Africa's longest. Former government minister Issa Bakari, who claimed a 54.8% win based on his own count, placed second with 35.2%. 12 volunteers who served in Liberia under the Nigerian Technical Aid Corps scheme have returned home. At a debriefing exercise organized to receive them, authorities of the agency say information received from them will guide future plans for deployment. Calvin Ehunwahi reports.
The 12 volunteers are mailing teachers. They were deployed in 2023 to serve in Liberia as teachers in schools across that country, with the objective of assisting Liberia to bridge the gap, quality manpower, and encourage school enrollment. After 2 years of meritorious service, the volunteers have returned home to a pleasant reception where they were commended for their exemplary service to Nigeria and humanity.
Information that we decide to get from them have already been gotten. So it's now up to Nigerian system to strategically cipher all the information that are useful and relevant to relevant sectors of Nigerian sectors of economy, our cultural environment, and our diplomatic engagement with those similar countries.
Quite appreciated because we always found on our duty posts. We did not let down our beloved country.
The concept of teaching in Nigeria here, I taught biology, the concept of teaching is not that different.
They subsequently received the certificate of discharge with a call on them to put their experiences and exposure to use in their respective organizations. In Abuja, Kelvin Ehunwahi, NTA News.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has cleared 85 underage candidates for admission under its exceptional policy after a rigorous screening exercise. The move follows a comprehensive evaluation process established by the board to ensure fairness and compliance with institutional and national admission standards. In a statement by its spokesperson, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, JAM explains that the 85 candidates were found qualified after meticulous assessment and have been duly notified to proceed to their respective institutions to complete the admission process and print their admission letters. The board emphasizes that the policy of exceptional admission aligns with global best practices, where cases of underage candidates with outstanding academic performance are treated as rare exceptions rather than the norm. Meanwhile, candidates who scored 320 and above in the 2025 UTME but were disqualified for failing to upload their O-level results have been given a final window to do so on or before Wednesday, October 29, 2025, and must notify the board through its ticketing platform. Nigeria's removal from the Financial Action Task Force grey list reflects its dedication to combating corruption and illicit financial activities. What does this achievement mean for Nigeria? And what is the significance of the grey list? Musa Baba Aliyu explores these questions.
The grey list, officially termed jurisdictions under increased monitoring, is maintained by the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, an intergovernmental body that establishes global standards to combat money laundering, terrorist financing, and the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. Countries are added to the grey list when identified as having weaknesses in their anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing frameworks. Nigeria, was placed on the FATF grey list on February 24, 2023, following a mutual evaluation and revealed deficiencies in areas such as transparency of beneficial ownership, oversight of non-financial sectors like real estate and legal services, and the effectiveness of law enforcement in prosecuting money laundering and terrorist financing cases. The current administration committed to an action plan to address these issues, leading to Nigeria's removal from the list on October 24, 2025.
A record of 4 countries have been removed from the grey list. The countries are Burkina Faso, Mozambique, Nigeria, and South Africa. Some of the actions taken by these jurisdictions include: Nigeria now has a stronger interagency coordination. Mozambique has improved financial intelligence sharing. And Burkina Faso has enhanced financial oversight of financial institutions and gatekeepers.
The Global Watchdog Agency noted that Nigeria demonstrated significant progress through reforms, including enhanced interagency coordination and improved financial intelligence sharing.
These transformations will help better protect communities that are harmed by crime and corruption, those living in fear of terrorist attacks, families with life savings drained by fraud and cybercrime.
The country's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has recovered more than 566.3 billion naira illicit funds and more than 1,500 properties acquired through fraudulent means in the last 2 years in the country. Nigeria's exit from the grey list after approximately 2 years and 8 months is expected to boost investor confidence and facilitate smoother cross-border financial transactions. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has again failed to open his defense in the alleged case of Terrorism Act preferred against him by the federal government. At the resumed hearing this Monday, when he was to open his defense, the defendant says he has gone through the case file and allegedly discovered that there is no charge against him. Judiciary correspondent Austin Ayimbe will tell us more.
The defendants had sought adjournment on the 24th October to enable him obtain his case file from his former legal team, which was granted by the court. He had earlier lined up 23 witnesses to be called, but when the case was called on Monday, the defendant said he has gone through the case file and allegedly discovered that there is no charge against him, hence urged the court to discharge him and grant his release from the DSS facility, stressing that there is no need for him to open his defense. The presiding judge, Justice James Omotosho, advised the defendant to consult wisely legal experts who are versed in criminal prosecution, reminding him that he had earlier ruled on his no-case submission, where he said that he has a case to answer. The judge, however, told the defendant that if he has made up his mind not to call any witness, then he should come back on Tuesday next week to address the court and thereafter close his case. The prosecution counsel, Adegboyega Awomolu, senior advocate of Nigeria, had told the court that the defendant saying there is no charge against him should be taken as his defense, and the court should therefore take their final written addresses and give judgment. More so that the defendant had spent 3 days from the 6 days slated for him to open and close his defense. While adjourning the matter to Tuesday, 4th of November for hearing or adoption of address, Justice Omotosho urged the defendant to seek legal advice as criminal procedural law comes with vast experience. He urged the defendant to serve the prosecution within 4 days from this Monday. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
In other news, Chairman Nigerian Diaspora Commission Abike Dabiri-Arawa has congratulated Muhammad Aminu Sani, an 18-year-old Nigerian, for making aviation history by earning a United States Federal Aviation Administration commercial multi-engine pilot license from Phoenix East Aviation in Florida. Dabiri-Arawa described Sani's accomplishment as a shining example of the brilliance, resilience and determination of young Nigerians breaking global boundaries, stating that His achievement at such a young age reflects the limitless potential of Nigerian youths when given the right opportunities, mentorship and support. Sani completed a rigorous training program in less than 12 months, an impressive feat achieved without a single check ride failure, a rarity even among seasoned trainees. Dabiri Rewa praised Sani for his discipline and excellence, stating that his success is a source of national pride and a beacon of hope for millions of young Nigerians striving to make a mark globally. Security experts are calling for a comprehensive overhaul of training institutions for Nigeria's security agencies to be equipped to address 21st century challenges. Guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria emphasize integrating modern technology, cybersecurity, intelligence gathering and human rights compliance into curricula and not limiting revamping to infrastructure only. Lydia Sampson reports.
The current training institutions and programs, the experts argue, are outdated and ill-equipped to prepare personnel for emerging threats and organized crime. They applaud government resolve to revamp the security institutions as apt.
You need a comprehensive analysis of why, if we think they are not, our security agencies are not performing to the optimal level which we require them. It will not be training alone. It will be other things.
And for those of us who are observers, keen observers in the security sector, I think this is a yeoman job.
Okay.
And those of us too who are ordinary citizens, this is an extraordinary government innovation. And for even people who are commentators, I think it's an opportunity for them to encourage government and other public entities.
Laudable as the revamping is, the guests want a holistic approach, harnessing expertise and analytical skills to create a unique security environment overhaul.
We have to actually go ahead and carry out this revamping, and definitely we need international assistance who will come in terms of bringing training instructors, bringing the models and equipment, and then showing us the best practices so that we'll have a culture.
A multidisciplinary approach involving collaboration with international partners, academia, and tech specialists, they insist, is needed to build capacity effectively. The reform aims to produce security personnel who are adaptive, well-informed, and capable of safeguarding national security in an increasingly complex global environment. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
All right, let's look at electorate matters. And over the weekend, INEC performed mock accreditation exercise in Aguleri community. That's Anambra East local government area. So we join our correspondent live now, Jans Francis Obi. She monitored the exercise and she will be telling us the successes recorded so far by INEC, and also tell us, Jans Francis, what areas do you think INEC need to upskill before the election, which is just less than 2 weeks away?
Good evening and welcome to Oka. As the countdown to the November 8th gubernatorial election in Anambra State intensifies, INEC has assured the people of their 99% readiness to conduct a free, fair and credible election in the state. As part of the activities preceding the election, the Commission has conducted a mock accreditation in 2 polling units in Aguleri out of the 5,718 polling units in Anambra State. This is to ascertain the performance of the bimodal voter accreditation system. During the exercise, the officials, however, noticed that the bimodal accreditation system was able to perform accreditation, casting of ballots, and uploading of the results to the INEC server just in 6 minutes. Also, the Commission was able to also finalize the distribution of the permanent voter cards in the 21 local government areas in the state, though there was no data as of now to ascertain the success of the exercise. But on the spot monitoring shows a large turnout of the electorate to the exercise who are willing to collect their permanent voters card.
Jane, that's a very good development. Going by the, insight you've revealed to us, it shows that INEC is almost ready, I will say, for the November 8 election. Thank you very much, Jane. Of course, we'll keep up with development as they unfold. So, not so cheering news. At least one person has been confirmed dead, while 26 others have been rescued after a two-story building collapse in Cole Street in Oyimbo. Emergency response team are currently on the scene working to rescue people who are still trapped under the rubble. The transmission company of Nigeria says its tower along the Gombe-Damaturu line has been vandalized, resulting in partial disruption of the bulk supply to Maiduguri, Borno and Damaturu, Yobe and of course its environs. The transmission company of Nigeria says its tower along the Gombe-Damaturu line has been vandalized, resulting in partial disruption of the bulk power supply to Maiduguri, Borno and Damaturu, Yobe. For onward distribution to consumers, the supply will be through major 33 kV feeders, including Beneshik, Damasak, Bama University Campus, Maiduguri Town, Monguno, and others. Also, Damaturu and its environs will be supplied from the Potiskum substation for the time being. TCN says its team of engineers has already been mobilized to site, working to replace the damaged tower and restore normal transmission. TCN appeals to the public to protect national assets and report any suspicious activities to the security agencies or the nearest TCN office. In a move aimed at boosting rural infrastructure and agricultural productivity, Governor Umar Namadi has flagged off the construction of a 30 kilometers Saku-Wawa to Kafung Hausa Feeder Road in Miga local government area of Jigawa State. The project, valued at 7 billion naira, is expected to link several agrarian communities and ease the transportation of farm produce across the region. Let's hear from Mohammed Musa Askira.
Governor Umar Namadi, while performing the groundbreaking ceremony, said the Sakwawa to Kafing Hausa Road is one of 3 major road projects currently ongoing in Miga local government area at a combined cost of 30 billion naira. He described Miga as a strategic agricultural hub whose contributions to Jigawa State's gross agricultural output remains highly significant. As part of activities preceding the Government Citizens Engagement Forum held in Miga, 2 key agrarian villages were also connected to the national grid, a development that the governor said will further enhance productivity and improve the living standards of residents. Speakers at the forum commended the initiative, describing the Citizens Engagement Program as an innovative platform that deepens participatory governance and strengthens the bond between the government and the people.
Mr. President, there was 20 trailers of fertilizer to be sold to the people at subsidized rate. What the Commissioner of Education has said, what we have spent of close to 3.5 billion naira alone in Miga local government. Likewise, the Commissioner of Health, about 600 million naira has been invested.
Miga local government, home to the Speaker of the Jigawa State House of Assembly, Haruna Aliu Nangiatin, hosted an impressive gathering of dignitaries, including the chairman of the Northern Caucus of the House of Representatives, Al-Hassan Adodogwa, and the Minister of State for Education, Sueba Hamid, among other APC stalwarts from within and outside Jigawa State. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
From Dutse, let's head to Lagos to join Ingino to tell us what she has from her end. Hello, Ingino. Ingino.
Thank you. Welcome to Lagos. The Nigerian media ecosystem, like other industries, is confronted with numerous challenges. However, the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, is proactively addressing these issues. This was reiterated during the closing ceremony of Africast 2025, which culminated in a gala night where industry leaders shared insights and proactive steps for navigating the digital landscape and fostering a more robust media ecosystem for the future. Adejoke Odeka completes the report.
Your participation remains an integral part.
The curtains drew to a close on Africast 2025, hosted by the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, with a special closing ceremony. With the theme, Navigating the Digital Surge, Building a Resilient African Media Ecosystem for the Future, the event brought together media industry leaders to share insights and shape Africa's media future.
We've decided to get into the industry and fix the problem. So the conversations, education, capacity building for our creatives to be ready for investments, how to structure their businesses, how to be ready for the global platforms. That's what we're doing.
Participants had actively engaged as they aligned with the NBC's objective of enhancing Nigeria's contribution to the advancement of the African media ecosystem.
The take-home especially is what we do with our content. Our content must remain very African, even though new technologies are now available and we're expected to embrace it.
The world is evolving and business is evolving. Nigeria, Africa must join the evolving media world to move along too, in terms of content, in terms of how to transmit the content, and in terms of how to capture the listeners out there.
Africast is perfect to combine all media people to meet around and see the new technology, to partner together to bring the best of media.
The fun-filled night, which had a blend of music, comedy and friendship, ended with presentation of certificates to participants. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
From Africast now, aviation fuel has direct impact on efficiency, affordability and sustainability in the sector. This is why industry players are amplifying the need for bold reforms, innovative financing and strategic partnership to enhance competitiveness. The aviation industry drives national development through economic growth, connectivity, trade, tourism and job creation. With fuel as a critical component, experts are advocating a paradigm shift to prioritize growth, innovation, and environmental safety. They are also pushing for policies that will ensure aviation fuel accessibility, affordability, and availability.
Aviation fuel sits at the very heart of airline operations. It does not only represent a key cost driver for airlines, but also a strategic index of national logistics and economic viability.
Stakeholders are urging relevant authorities to strengthen regulatory frameworks and scrutinize supply chains in order to curb malpractices.
We must make it a business that is sustainable, a business that guarantees that the basics are provided, a business that guarantees the fundamental things in the aviation industry, which is safety, security, as well as quality.
Apart from our population, our position in the Committee of Nations as a country, we also, have humongous potential to be the driver of aviation in sub-Saharan Africa.
For industry players, addressing aviation fuel challenges can boost operational efficiency, sustainability, and competitiveness in Nigeria's aviation sector, driving broader economic benefits. We are done with our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide will continue after the break in Jos with Bilkisu.
Welcome to Jos. As part of efforts to eliminate one of the deadliest yet preventable zoonotic diseases in the country, the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development, in collaboration with Plateau State Ministry of Livestock, Fisheries and Agriculture, has flagged off a nationwide anti-rabies free mass vaccination campaign for dogs and cats in Bassa local government area of the state. Mary Replong Domtur reports.
The choice of Basa local government area for the flag-off exercise is because of the high rate of rabies recorded in the local government. The Minister of Livestock Development emphasized government's commitment to eradicating rabies across the country through sustained vaccination and public awareness. He further calls on pet owners, veterinary practitioners and relevant stakeholders to actively participate in the exercise, noting that rabies remains a preventable disease.
The control of rabies is a shared responsibility and collective investment in the health and safety of our people.
Governor Caleb Mutfwang describes rabies as a preventable viral disease that poses a serious threat not only to livestock but also humans. He notes that Basa is among the areas affected by the disease and commended the federal government for selecting the local government to test run the program.
Every dog ought to be vaccinated against rabies. Let us ensure that we do not leave a gap anywhere and anyhow.
I want to believe that this will set the pace for other local governments and other states in Nigeria for this particular menace to be eradicated entirely.
The nationwide campaign is part of efforts by the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development to promote animal health and safeguard the public. Mary Replong Domtur, NTA News.
Plateau government is partnering the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission to ensure transparency in the revenue generation of solid minerals in the state. This was during the North Central Zone sensitization on the implementation of solid minerals data rendition templates for effective revenue monitoring. Indiang and Abuja has details.
The Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission is engaging stakeholders on the implementation of solid minerals data rendition templates for effective revenue monitoring. The event is designed to bridge the gap in the rendition of timely and accurate revenue data in the solid minerals sector.
Our contributions will go a long way in helping the host communities where these minerals are hosted, in helping the states where these minerals are mined to achieve the highest benefit from the sector. When you achieve the highest benefit, the federal government stands to benefit.
Governor Caleb Mutfwang representative says it is a laudable initiative by the administration of President Bola Tinubu and ready to partner with the Commission to achieve its mandate in the state.
This conference today is for us to come together, discuss together and see how possibly the mining sector will be of great help to not only to Plateau State but to Nigerian government as a whole.
It's about blocking the leakages in our solid mineral assets.
Ours is to ensure that this policy and program was there to complement and to implement policies.
We've been hearing that the laws regarding tin mining should be done with the input and contribution of traditional rulers.
The event featured an interactive session with stakeholders to discuss critical issues in terms of solid minerals data rendition and forge partnerships that will contribute to the development of the sector in Jos. Indenyan and the Abuja, NTA News.
That is all from Jos. It's back to Ruth in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Bilkisu. World Audiovisual Heritage Day, celebrated today, highlights the importance of preserving audiovisual archives, which documents the cultural, social, and historical heritage of nations. Now, these archives, including films, television programs, radio broadcasts, and sound recordings, provide a unique window into the past, offering insights into the evolution of societies and cultures. Well, earlier we had the Executive Director, National Film and Video Censorship Board, Dr. Shuaibu Hussaini. He spoke on the need to safeguard these often fragile and vulnerable materials for future generations. Let's see the excerpt.
We have a lot of these films that we need to preserve for generations to come. I mean, at the last count, we have over 280,000 films in different formats, in VHS, in CDs, in DVDs, and now, you know, the new form is to have them either in flash drive or in links. And what we have been doing since this administration came in is to see how we can move them in those formats to a format that we can preserve them for posterity. Because what these things do for us is that we hand down. I mean, there are a lot of us who came after 1990s, maybe the 2000s. We were not privy to important programs such as Second Chance on NTA, Magan and Jarichi, you know.
Or even saying Kokora
Dawn, you know, even Samanja, you know, Ichoku, you know, we're not, but if we don't preserve them, nobody will see them today. Okay. So we need to preserve them for generations. We need to preserve them for people to know that we have this much in terms of our heritage. We must have the culture of preserving our film heritage, our sound recording heritage, as well as our television heritage. So if you have, like what we are experiencing now, we're in a digital age where people produce this content and just upload it online, and there is nowhere where we can keep it for you. So that's why we have been harping on the fact that if you produce any film or video work in this country, the law mandates us to keep a register of that work. And why the law mandates us is because we need to have that in our archive so that it can be retrievable.
All right, the essence there on preserving our heritage. Residents of Ibadan have been reacting to the slight reduction in the prices of foodstuff and have called for the sustenance of the efforts that led to this reduction of staple food prices. In the market, correspondent Oyeyinka Omole visited one of the markets there in Ibadan and now reports.
One of the major essentials of life as humans is food, and some of the major staple foods in this part of Nigeria include rice, beans, yam, garri, vegetables, and soup condiments. Presently, prices of these foodstuffs have reduced significantly to the delight of buyers compared to how it sold some months ago.
The price of rice now is 61,000. The price of rice 2-3 months ago was higher than now. The rates at which people are buying now is somehow low.
Market women, they should join hands together to make everything come normal. So it's not good that they do put high price to the food when the farmers are bringing their low price to the market.
Both buyers and sellers are optimistic of the sustenance of this trend as the year winds down and especially ahead of the end of year festivities in Ibadan. Oyeyinka Omole, NTA News.
All right, let's join Oyeyinka there in Ibadan. Oyeyinka, I'm sure you visited all the markets, aside the one we saw in your report, and I want to believe the optimism, you know, from the buyers and the sellers. They want it to be sustained, right?
Yes, thank you, Ruth, and welcome to Ibadan. I'm right now at Bodija Market in Ibadan North local government area, which is one of the prominent markets in the southwest Nigeria. Talking about the prices of food items, the buyers are happy because the situation is certain, but the sellers on their part continue to complain about low patronage as usual. And one of the farmers I spoke to off the camera lamented that as the price is low in the market is affecting them, talking about the cost of preparing the land, the cost of inputs, that it is taking its toll generally on their production. So in that wise, they appeal to all the powers that be. They appeal to those that that are stakeholders in the agricultural sector to formulate policies that will be beneficial to farmers so that this trend will be sustained. And if you will notice it, we are in October and we are moving gradually to the festive period. Buyers equally appeal to sellers that they should moderate their prices instead of selling at high prices to buyers when the farmers are bringing the product to the farm at reduced cost. And they equally spoke about issue of transportation, that talking about this product, it is coming from the farm at cheapest rate, but transporting them to the market remain a major challenge, talking about transport fare. And they equally bore their mind on insecurity in some parts of the country, in which Oyo State, where we are, is not an exception. So they are talking about making the farm conducive for farmers so that they'll be able to farm all year round. Also, what they also suggested is irrigation system, whereby aside using the rainwater to farm, they will be able to use the irrigation system also, so as to improve the trend. And it is inexhaustible if you are to talk about what should be done. They equally call on Nigerians to embark on backyard farming, whereby that will reduce the pressure on the farmers in order to satisfy the populace. So by and large, that has been the situation here at Bodija Market in Ibadan. Thank you, Ruth, for joining me in Ibadan.
Thank you very much, Oyeyinka. And I know one thing for sure, the present administration, food security is top on the agenda, and efforts already in place will be sustained. Let's keep hope alive. A book A book, yes, has been unveiled, and this time around it has to do with measures to curb human trafficking and other heinous crimes, which puts the youths into identity crisis and other global concerns. The book, titled Vicious Red Cycle, a research document, experts say, outlines critical issues militating against human rights, freedom, and existence in line with best international practices, and urging stakeholders to embrace the book as a socio-economic solution to emerging security issues affecting the nation.
One of the major essentials of life as humans is food.
I want to call on all of you that this book is not just the pages that we have, but this book should be in your hearts, should make sense, not on your shelves. Because it's not the number of books you put in your shelves that matters.
We cannot break this silence. We cannot break this circle with indifference. But we can break it with awareness. We can break it with compassion. And we can break it with action.
The book illuminates the hidden world of exploitation that thrives in the shadows of modern society. You may call it even modern slavery, you won't mistake. In 198 evocative pages.
Personalities describe the book as a breaker of the culture of silence. Amidst continued human trafficking, the vicious red cycle of exploitation, social injustice, and abuse of human resources within and beyond the Nigerian borders. We're going back to Ibadan, but this time around in the studio, Larry is set to bring us reports from his end. Hello, Larry.
Ruth, and welcome to Ibadan. Medical professionals have organized a fitness walk to commemorate the 2025 Breast Cancer Awareness Month to create awareness and honor those affected by the disease. Ayomiku Ajibola, who joined the walk, reports that the experts align with the cause and reaffirm commitments to public health.
The Breast Cancer Awareness Health Fitness Walk brought together health professionals within Ibadan to highlight the importance of early detection, regular screening, and prevention in combating breast cancer. The aim of the walk was to increase awareness within Ibadan metropolis of breast cancer, which continue to have a devastating effect on Nigeria's female populace.
Breast cancer is the #1 killer of women all over the world. It's a serious problem, and 1 in 8 women are affected. So women need to be aware about breast cancer.
Various individuals who took part in the walk commended the organizers for the efforts being put in place to create a healthy Nigeria for all.
Self-breast examination, which can be done from age 18 and above. Then for under 40, we have sonomammogram. that is breast scan. Then for age 40 and above, there is another one meant for them, which is mammogram.
We just want to implore people, as in the good people of Oyo State, to key into this project. As we reach out to them, let them, buy into it, let them actually imbibe it. The practice and culture of regular breast examination.
The theme for the 2025 World Breast Cancer Awareness Month is "Every story is unique, every journey matters." In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
500 girls have received free sanitary pads as part of efforts to tackle period poverty and reduce absenteeism among female students in public secondary schools in Osun State. Femi Afari-Ogun reports that the initiative is also geared towards promoting menstrual hygiene and safeguarding the dignity of the girl child.
Period poverty, the inability to access menstrual products, hygienic facilities, and adequate education remains a major challenge faced by many young girls in Nigeria. This situation forces some to resort to unsafe alternatives during their monthly cycle, putting their health, confidence, and academics at risk. The distribution of reusable sanitary pads to students of CAC Grammar School, Ede, is therefore aimed at empowering the girls to manage their menstrual health with dignity.
So if a young girl has access to pads and she doesn't have access to a safe environment where she can manage her period, that is also period poverty. So if we are going to address period poverty, it has to be a holistic approach where young girls can have access to comfortable restrooms.
In addition to the sanitary pads, a modern toilet facility was also provided for the school.
For the program, when they are having their period, they used to go to the bush, but now we have a lot of pad in the school. When they want to use it, we give it to them.
The pad is really helping. I will not be wasting money. I will not be spending money buying disposable pad again.
The initiative forms part of the ongoing efforts by various groups and individuals advocating improved health, education, and support system to end period poverty among schoolgirls in less privileged communities. From Ede, Femi Afari-Ogun, NTA News.
And those are the trending reports from Ibadan. This hour nationwide continues with Sedia at our Sokoto Network Center after this break. Stay with us.
Joining us in Sokoto. Concerned about the alarming cases of drug abuse among the youths, the Sultan of Sokoto and President General Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, has called on the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency to adopt innovation and result-oriented strategies to tackle the menace to safeguard the future of the country. The Sultan made the call while receiving the Sokoto State Commander of the NDLEA, Mustafa Muhammad Gidadu, during a courtesy visit to his palace. Lalata Abdullahi reports.
Drug abuse has been identified as one of the major factors fueling insecurity and other social challenges in the society. The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, assured that traditional institutions are fully committed to supporting the NDLEA in its effort to rid the state of drug-related crimes. He also charged the agency to intensify operations and conduct raids in identified black spots. The Sultan emphasized that district heads and other traditional leaders will work closely with the agency to ensure that its sensitization message reaches every community. He further urged Nigerians, especially the youth, to shun drug abuse, warning that it worsens rather than resolve life's challenges.
Total reduction of drugs circulation will really help us in having a secure society. I want to assure you whatever plans you have, I want to discuss with those who are ready, who are very willing to work with you.
Earlier, the NDLEA State Commander, Mustafa Muhammad Gidadu, said he was at the palace to formally introduce himself and seek royal blessings. He explained that Sokoto remains vulnerable to drug trafficking due to its proximity to international borders.
We did our strategies, we did our homework, we tried to identify the vulnerable areas, and we are trying to fish out all those people that we know that are committing this drug trafficking in Sokoto. We are trying to close the tap where they would no longer go and drink the water.
The command has engaged community leaders and the Hizbah board to strengthen collaboration in achieving lasting success in the fight against drug abuse in the state. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
That's all time permits from Sokoto. It's now back to Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Sadia. And from us here, we'll just bring you sports update.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria are set to take on Egypt in a friendly match on December 14 at the Cairo International Stadium, serving as their final preparations for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. The friendly will help both teams gear up for AFCON starting on December 21 in Morocco. The Eagles will commence their training for the tournament on December 10, and they are placed in Group C alongside Uganda, Tunisia and Tanzania, while Egypt will compete in Group B against South Africa, Angola and Zimbabwe. Meanwhile, the Super Falcons resumed training at the MKO Abiola Sports Arena in Abeokuta on Sunday in preparation for the return leg of their final qualifying match for the 2026 WAFCON against Benin Republic. The Falcons are coming into Tuesday's match following a 2-0 victory over Benin last Friday in Lome, Togo, and they aim to defend their continental title, won in Morocco, and secure a spot in the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup qualifier.
I have so much confidence in the Super Falcons of Nigeria. I've watched them play. I like the way they knock the ball, even though they need to add other things such as shooting, intensity to their game.
And finally, Italian top seed Yannick Sinner made a remarkable comeback to defeat Germany's Alexander Zverev 3-6, 3-7-5 in the Vienna Open final. This victory marks Sinner's fourth ATP top title of the season and his second win in Austria City. With sports updates, Omoyemi Unubu, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide. Thank you for your company. Do have a beautiful evening. I'm Ruth Aguilera.